Good. So we're live. Welcome. So we are live. Let me see that this is okay. And this is okay. Everything works well. Good. So this is the first transmission of the year. And welcome. It's a pleasure connecting, and we're going into it in just a few seconds. Let me get a little bit of this. Why am I? What is that? Okay. So I'm going just to. Oh, I'm not in the right place to do that. I have to come here. So I hope you had a very good beginning of this year, 2023. Everything is working and going wonderfully. It's a new year, which symbolizes some changing, some new stuff, some new everything. Anyway, oh, hi Roxy, welcome. So analytics. So I haven't done this in a little while because I've done all my channeling for Patreon. So they changed YouTube, they changed Zoom. So one has to find the way back into these things that keep changing. Right, let me just send this out. And we're going to get into channeling. First of all, let me remind you of, yes. There's always something that you cannot do. What was I saying? Yeah, let me remind you of a couple of things as we are at it. The Madigan podcast, so follow us with as host Roxanne Wainhart and myself. We're talking about many things. Lately, we have been talking about abilities, human abilities, which are creators' abilities, like channeling, like healing, like reading, psychic abilities, etc., etc. Next one that we are recording tomorrow will be about the angelics, Roxanne's new book, published book that you can find on Amazon, and is now being printed. So you can also order it in printing, but if you have a Kindle, you can go to Amazon. You can also go to what's the name? Noble? I don't remember. It's in many places. You can find it, and it's amazing. I've been reading it. I've read it, and I had an amazing journey reading it, and I can only recommend everyone to read it because it's there's a wonderful, very interesting and intriguing story. But as the story is told, there is a lot of wisdom, a lot of things that Roxanne writes about, and I think that that's especially what really took me is the aspect of telling these extra dimensional beings, the interactions with humans, and their interaction, and also the exploration that there is in the relationship within uh, beyond angels. I don't want to spoil it, but there are many other beings that come into the story. So it's really interesting to see. Sorry, to have a glimpse into these different um, beings, and so go and read it, buy it, read it, and it's a very very good read. Um, Next, Patreon. So go and have a check to my Patreon. There are now 80 and more videos, many other things that you can have. And from my point of view, it's very interesting, obviously. Go check my website, breakfastwithmax.com, and you can have access there and see what I'm offering. And so I think that I've done that. Yeah, let's get into the channeling. So lately I've been doing this a little bit differently, so it may takes a couple of minutes, but we're getting there. Just be quiet. We got this. Hello, everyone. This is very interesting, right? There we are. You see? Quicker. When you learn to surrender, it is easier for you. Well, I say for you because it's about how it is for you. For us, it's absolutely not important. We're just here. It's up to you to get it. And you are getting it, right? So, there we are. There we go. Yeah. Well, very easy, easy, because it is easy and you can understand and you can guess that How couldn't we come through right now as we were talking about a book where we are the center stage? So we had to come. It was like an invitation. And we are not those that do not take our invitations. We are quick and we are there. So, yes, Gabriel here. Guys and girls, humans or day walkers, those that are unaware of themselves. So we get into this. How are you doing? How are you? Yes, you. You know, how do you feel walking this lands of unawareness, losing sight of you, believing you're so far away, so lost, so doing things because you have to, because, well, you have to, because you have to, because everyone tells you you have to, so you tell yourself you have to. Giving yourself pain, unwanting, not really wanting to have that pain, but not knowing anything else. But you see, this guy has now just got a huge epiphany, huge discovery, huge understanding. Coming together after feeling lost. He was feeling lost, completely lost. And he was so down on himself and not happy and feeling that he was losing the train, staying behind and not being able to reach out. And then he got the epiphany. Because you see, it's that you cannot stop working. Even when you are feeling stuck, you're still working on yourself. You're still having that stuff happening. And even if you may not remember immediately what you have been working on, what has been happening, and how have you been feeling and sitting and relating and all that very, very interesting stuff that you do as human beings, what you are receiving as information, what you are doing, stays with you, sticks with you, and it's working. You're getting that. And at some point, the information you receive, what you have, gives you these epiphanies. It comes all together and you have your understanding. Now I know moments. It happens because you are working on you. And we're saying this here. We know that we're not talking about humanity in globally, even though humanity is evolving. We know that humanity is evolving. But we are talking about you right here, right now, watching this, listening to this. And you are doing this because why you are doing it. You're attracted to it. Why are you attracted to it? Well, because you are. Because there is a light that is offered and you're responding to it. And you say, this is something that is very difficult for many of you really to understand. The light is shared. You are sharing and it's light. It is light because you are light. Vibration, light, that's what you are. You're seeing it exposed to you as a reality, but all of that is light. It's nothing else but light. We are light, and all the rest of creation is light. The way that light is vibrating, radiating, determines what you're seeing and what you're not seeing, with whom you can be in relationship and with whom you cannot really be in relationship. But that's the only thing. It's the intensity, it's the vibration of it. You're in their dimension. It just means that you are vibrating, you are radiating in a certain way. We are radiating in a different way. So you cannot see us unless we allow you to see us. It's just because we are aware. You're not, we are. So our game is different for yours, and you are forgetting. And so not using what you are able to do. But you see, this is the point, is that it's not that you are less, you're simply not remembering how to do things. We do. So we can decide. You can't. And that's all. All the dimensions are not better than yours. They're different, vibrating differently, with a evolution, with a other way of experiencing, of translating the light so that it feels different. It is different. It's not physical. It is though a sort of physicality, but it's different from you, right? Your reality is a physical reality as you perceive it, but it's simply the vibrating of the light that is determining the way that your reality feels. You change your vibration, so you get to fourth, fifth, sixth dimension. You still are creating, you still are having experiences, but you are doing that with a different way of vibrating. So we are doing it different from you. Doesn't mean it's better, neither worse. It's different. And so these are part of the epiphanies, of the understanding, of this accelerating time that he is experiencing, realizing these things. For him, it was unimaginable to have any idea how is it with the angels. Though he came to our realm and he was there and he remembers being there, still he has difficulties. He was having difficulties in imagining, in having any idea of what that is, and let alone all the places he has been and experiences that he has been having, but still he couldn't relate, he couldn't have any idea until these last few days, reading a book and having finally the worth to allow the understanding of what he has already experienced. He has been in spaceships. He has been in space. Doesn't remember it, but he was. He has been. It's not new. But now he can relate to it, being in space. He can relate to the angelics, reading about the seals, about the rituals, about the way the exchanges are. There is a reality, there is a interactions, there are angels, there are archangels, there are beings that are there. The relationship is different. It's a collective that knows itself. You're a collective. You know yourselves. The collective, the human collective, knows itself, but not the humans. There is a separation. You are ignoring yourselves and ignoring your collective. We're not, because we know it. So when visiting, when relating, now he perceives it, he conceptualizes it. Still, human perspective, you are not able to have any other perspective than your own perspective, obviously. But when you allow the information, when you allow the flow, then you can relate to us. You can give us a reality, a presence, a incarnation. We are real. And that what was missing with him. And he got that. But it's not that it was not there. It was there. The knowledge was there. He was not yet surrendering to the knowing. And surrendering is the key words here. For him, for you, for everyone. Surrendering. He finally started surrendering and not fighting. And it's not easy. It's not easy for you. Absolutely not easy. Especially because you are surrounded by information from your fellow humans of hard work, hardship, doing this, doing that, making it happen. All the time, those things so much hard to have a reality. As a human being, right? So hard. Or let's rephrase that. It's very hard to have the reality that you wish, that you want. But in reality, you are having a reality, probably not what you wish, something else. But what you wish is irrelevant. It is. You imagine that it's so important, and in reality, it's absolutely not important. But how many things that you wanted in your life that you haven't had, and it's what, 10, 20, 30, 40 years that you are on this earth. And did that affect you that you didn't get what you wanted? No, you're still here, still alive, still creating, still having experiences. So not getting what you wanted didn't change a bit your presence, your life, your being. You're still on. Surrendering then becomes hard work, strange, impossible, because surrendering brings you what? Closer to the loss of identity. Identifying your identity, recognizing the identity, recognizing the ego. All the instances where the ego is claiming attention doesn't work anymore, because you can't anymore give that to the ego. Because surrendering is surrendering to what? Surrendering to you. Surrendering to what you are creating. You, this reality, this everything. And when you surrender, there is nothing else. Only you, with you. And that's when the ego cannot hide, cannot escape, cannot pretend. It's deep. You are bullshitting yourself. You're losing yourself into thoughts that are irrelevant, useless, a distraction. So you recognize the distraction, but here is the thing. Now, instead of fighting against the distraction again, instead of denying it, instead of energizing it by opposing it, you surrender. Surrendering. At that moment, there is no escape. There is no other thing. You are looking for peace, you're looking for tranquility, you are looking for being at ease with yourself and rest and all of that. Surrender. That will give you all of that and much more. Because at that point, all the brouhaha disappears. Because it's tiring. It's really bringing you to a state of such need of rest, because you are just losing your energy into nothing for, well, things that have absolutely no importance. You may bring yourself into believing that those things have any importance, but that's still the ego making you believe that it's important. It isn't important. Nothing is important except you, your discovery, your I am, your being you ascending the species, getting into the evolution, the ascension of your race, of you, into a new version of you, as an individual, as a collective, as a species, which you are doing. Again, it's happening, but you are here now, so you are choosing it. Still, the difficulties for the human race, for the human beings are there, and they are real, in the sense that you perceive them as real. Because in reality, it isn't. It's very easy and very clear. Because you try always to get all the picture and all the information and all of it so that you can pretend to know all there is. And so you know you can do it because you have the knowledge. Knowledge cannot give it to you. You cannot read it in a book and then say, I get it. That's not enough. It's not going to happen like that. It's going to happen because you do the work, because you put yourself into it and you allow it to happen. You surrender to it. And to the degree the surrendering, right? There isn't just one way of surrendering. Now, what you are taking as a street, as a road, as a destination, if there is a destination, but there is a destination, but in the road that you have taken, it's to get into that total surrender. And it is a journey. No, don't expect to surrender instantly. You have too much ego, too much separation, too much of that stuff going on. And even when you surrender, the ego doesn't go away. The ego is still there. The work doesn't finish because you surrender. Surrendering is understanding, getting into that state of total belonging to you internally and accepting your reality, you precisely, exactly as it is. Exactly as it is. Recognizing that you did it, therefore, it's perfection. Therefore, what are you resisting? What are you opposing it? You did it. So give yourself that. Give yourself that opportunity. Give yourself that recognition. You are behind it. You are doing it. You are absolutely the one. And so with that, then you can get into that acceptance, because you are only accepting what you are doing. And you see, the thing is that if you get really into it, the fact that you are creating it, it's that you have already accepting it. So who's opposing, or whom is opposing it? You are opposing yourself. But who's exactly? The ego, the created, the personality. So that's why total submission, total acceptance of your reality is annihilating the identity. Because you cannot have identity when you surrender. Because the identity is not ready to submit, to accept what it is doing. Because again, it's you. So you are opposing yourself, not opposing someone else or opposing something that you have been done against you. No, it's you. Not them, it's you. All of it. Oh, so you see how this gives you freedom of evolution, freedom of ascension. It pushes you in that direction, totally and completely, in a way that you may not have experienced before. It's a very, very powerful way of being, because at that moment you reach yourself deeply, or more deeply than ever. Or the relationship that you have with yourself changes completely. You are then really completely aware of you, aware of you. You surrender to you, and you free you. You free the energy, but you free your relationship with you, so that the you, the you, your self, your global self, you gains much more access to you, and you gain much more access to you. That is priceless, right? Imagine, or you don't need to imagine, just look at yourself. Remember the way it was. Remember the way it may also be. How you relate to yourself, how you look at yourself. Uh, Not always wonderful, but when you surrender to you, and then you discover yourself in a way that is wonderful. You fell in love with you. And you see, then that gives you insight into what it gives you insight into your belief systems in a deeper way. You will relate to them, you see them, but also you have a inner dialogue that points out to you. You see what you're doing? Do you understand what you're doing? This is what you're doing. Look at that. It's a belief system. Look at that. It's a belief system. Look at that. It's a belief system. And then what do you do when you identify your belief systems? You surrender to them. You don't fight them. You see, you have been told time and time and time and time and time again that you have to fight, that you have to fight and fight and fight and fight and fight, that you have to change. But the change, it's not a allowed change, it's a change that you have to hard work for it. You have to bring with a very hard strength. Of course, you do the work, absolutely. But we're not telling about that right now. We're telling to that change that you think that you have to have because it's a new year. Let's change. Oh, but it's time to do this. It's time to do that. Oh, I'm not happy with me. Let me change. That's bullshit. You're only giving energy to your belief systems, to your unworthiness, to your I'm not good enough. Change doesn't come that way. Not this change, not this change. The change of evolution, the change of ascension. That change comes when you surrender. That's when you get it. You don't change yourself by fighting against it. I'm too fat. Let me fight against the fat. Don't fight. You are giving it energy. Therefore, you are sustaining that exactly thing that you do not want to keep anymore. So instead of changing it, you are just enabling it, making it stronger. And for sure, it's gonna stay. But that's exactly what your identity wants. To have you keeping it, not letting go. No. Because if you let go, what happens of the identity? Well, the identity goes back, goes with it. When you surrender, what can the identity do? You're not fighting, you are not opposing, you're not looking for excuses, you're surrendering. There's no energy that you are giving into the belief, not energy that you're giving to the identity. You have surrendered, you have accepted it. And that's when you transcend it. That's when you're able to let go of it. By God. Because it's energy. It is. Again, we are all light. So all you do is energy, one way or another. So when you are evolving yourself, ascending yourself, creating a new species out of you, well, what game do you think that you can play? There's no game. You have chosen that. So you have to see, to understand what you're doing with your vibration, with your energy, with your life. Keep surrendering. Keep abandoning, letting go, not holding all those things that, again, you think they are important, but whether you get them or not, then you even forget about those things. You don't even remember them. Again, how many things did you want and you never had, and you thought that they were so important that you couldn't live without them? And 20 years, 30 years later, you're still there, very much alive and very much still creating. So it was not that important after all, was it? So keep doing your work, keep evolving yourself, and don't worry. Eventually, all of you get there, get to the evolution, get to the ascension point. So keep up with your wonderful work, and you see the results are coming if you're not already there. And they are. They are. In the now. What now? The now you're attracting. Next. or this one, but they are there. Do not focus on the result. Do not expect results. The results come exactly when they come. As you are using time, it's gonna be taking time. Doesn't matter. You will be there exactly in the moment where you get your pay for your work, which is simply the realization, the understanding, the application, the feeling, the being it. Comes with surrender, it comes with acceptance, it comes with allowance. But forget about expectation. Do not expect it. And be kind with yourself. Be. But kindness and kindness comes as soon as you surrender, as soon as you understand, as soon as you get to that point. You will find so much more kindness, love, understanding for yourself, acceptance for yourself. We will be seeing you soon. Goodbye. All right. Hello. Back. So there it is. Right? Um, I've been, in the last few days, I've been experiencing what it is to surrender. The internal exploration, the internal understanding, the acceptance, and the being, the discovery, being able to have a constant, aware communication with myself, with me. And I've decided not to use another name. I've been, but said, well, it's me. So I will not differentiate. I will just get into the unity of being me. And that I've had such wisdom and understanding coming from that um, talks and And what may be the doubts, or the is it really me? Is it really not just still me, but not that me, another me? It's me, and I have just got such wisdom and support and understanding, and it gives me that insight that I need in just registering and understanding my behavior, my the things that I keep doing, and that I see, right. I instantly know, and I then am able to surrender to it. And the, what that means to me is just that I I see it, I understand it, and then I accept it. I'm not fighting against it, right? There is the old um, habit of judgment, of um, criticizing, right? Oh, you're doing that again, right? That was the way I was doing, right? I'm doing that again. Oh, I have to. There's the temptation of doing that, but I'm not energizing it. I'm not going into that. I'm just surrendering to the moment, to what that is. And so I move on. And I've just been able to have more, I'd say, quality time, quality experiences in discovering those, but also in my doing. The difference between the ego overwhelmingly saying, oh, there is this to do, that to do, that to do, and still that, and still that, and again that, so many things that needs to be done, because oh my goodness, how, what if I don't do those things, it's the end of the world. That was the ego. Now I've seen that doing what I'm doing in the moment, not looking in time to what needs to be done, but doing in the moment what I'm doing in the moment. And the other things that I've noticed is that my fear that were there are not there anymore. They haven't disappeared. I still fear, but I'm not fearing it like before. It's not a fear that is present. I'm recognizing that I'm here in this moment, and I don't need the fear. So the fear is not underlying somewhere. And I could feel it quite constantly, I think in the last year at least, being there, not really realized, not really expressed, but still a feeling behind. And these are the things that once they gone, you recognize them. I was not aware of it. I was not understanding that. I am understanding that now. But that's gone, because the surrendering then takes away the fear, because the surrendering is the full acceptance of the moment. So there is no need of fear, because then that means that I'm accepting the perfection of creation, the perfection of the moment. And yes, and I can attest is really absolutely different. Now, what I also know, what I am also aware, is that I'm a work in progress. So experiences are happening. I'm here to experience. So surrendering is not impeding experiences. What surrendering does to experiences, though, is that it allows a much bigger experience, in the sense that then also the choices are made from a, let's say, more empowered standpoint, meaning, well, the energy flows more freely. It's all that is. So my energy is flowing more freely. That freeze, no, it's not a freeze. No, that's not that freezes or freeze. No, freeze. That freeze. Um, what can be, right? The choices that gives more choices, more opportunities. Again, it's not in intention. It's the way it is. It's just happening. It's just a surrender. And the other thing is that I'm feeling less tired. I've been, especially in the end of the year, I was just so tired that I was doing not much, um, because I didn't have the energy. So I couldn't manage to really put myself together into doing much. And now I feel refreshed and able to do things. And not, it doesn't mean that I'm doing things, I'm just feeling able to do. That's all. I don't need now to put myself into doing. That's not what that means. Because the doing, again, is something that you discover in the moment. If there is anything, any action that is available, that is there in that moment, well, you take that action in that moment, in the flow of creation, right? It's so that's what it is. But then with the surrender, with the freeing energy, then more actions will appear as available, as possible in that moment. That's the way it is. That's how we do. Because when we oppose, when we are forcing reality, we are just not getting those opportunities, we're not getting those actions, or we are getting less of them. What is really forced, it's not that nothing happens, is that it's much more work. It's much more hard work. It's why the harder you work, the harder you have to work, because it's hard work. When you accept that there is no hard work that is needed, well, you don't do hard work. Reality becomes simpler, in the sense that actions becomes evident in the moment and not force. It's a flow. It becomes a flow. And you receive more information, and you receive more intuition, and you receive then more clear ways in the way you need to act, in the way you can act. in the way your actions are going to bring you into that moment of realization, into that moment of completion. And that is when you free yourself from the need of performing, of doing hard work, of being a slave, of being in the need of that separation, of that illusion. It is an illusion. It is absolutely an illusion that you can force reality into doing your will. It has never happened, will never happen. When you free yourself, then the will of the now will be there for you. Evident, realized. All right, there we go. Thank you for joining in. This is the January 2023 transmission for one of the year, and well, it's a joy and I love to connect with you. So we'll be seeing you soon. Thank you, Roxy. I will be seeing you tomorrow, and I will be seeing you all soon. Bye bye.